Thank you very much. And welcome to Cats and Dogs here on Press TV with me, Lambert Opic, where we begin by trying to figure out what appears to be a deadly anti-media mindset in Tel Aviv. On May the 11th, 2022, Israeli soldiers shot dead Shireen Abu Akleh, a Palestinian-American journalist. The killing of this veteran Al Jazeera reporter triggered an international outcry. It was so bad that even the US president called for an immediate and thorough probe into Abu Akleh's death. What was the Israeli regime thinking? How could they commit such a terrible crime? Aren't America and Israel meant to be friends? Let's try and get some answers from the regime chief himself, Prime Minister Naftali Bennett. Prime Minister Bennett, thanks for joining us here on Cats and Dogs.
We're innocent.
What? Well, what are you innocent of exactly?
Discrimination. We treat everyone equally.
You treat everyone equally in what way?
I mean, we shoot at everyone, even the media.
Well, on that point, Mr. Bennett, why did you allow the death of reporter Abu Akleh?
In fact, we've been investigating the case.
Have you found anything?
Yes, she had an accident at work.
An accident at work? But you've admitted she was shot by your soldiers.
Yes, but as I say, she was at work.
Come on, how can you justify this killing?
Well, it was a misunderstanding.
What kind of misunderstanding?
We didn't know she was American. We thought she was just a Palestinian journalist.
Why would being American or Palestinian make any difference?
Well, the main difference is when we shoot a Palestinian, it doesn't make the headlines. So in this case, we were very unlucky.
Not as unlucky as the journalist.
Not true. We've had all the bad publicity, not her.
Look, this is not the first time you've shot a journalist. Why does this happen?
I blame the media.
You blame the media for what?
For being there.
Look, this was an American Christian female reporter.
Again, we will never discriminate who we shoot at on the basis of gender, religion, profession, or even nationality.
Do you have any plan to avoid these kinds of deaths in future?
Yes. We advise people to print their nationality on their press vest. Then we can be more discriminatory. At the moment, you can't tell the Americans apart.
Are you worried that Israel is only making headlines when it kills someone?
That's not true. We also made headlines when we built the separation wall in the West Bank. And also when we built new houses in the settlements.
What message does this send the world?
The message is, if you need any building work done, give me a call.
That was Prime Minister Bennett there. Now, around the same time, the Israeli regime shocked the world with the assassination of Shireen. Enrique Mora, a top EU official, shocked the world with a tweet. Mora, who's coordinating talks to revive the Iran nuclear deal, tweeted, "Retained by the German police at the Frankfurt airport on my way to Brussels, back from Tehran. Not a single explanation. An EU official on an official mission holding a Spanish diplomatic passport took out my passport and my phones." Poor Mora, leaving aside rumours that Frankfurt Airport is the CIA's German headquarters. Next time he makes the trip, maybe he should send his phone back a day early so the police can arrest the phone first, and then arrest him when he goes to visit his phone in prison. Go to Iran and have a free holiday on the way back in an all-expenses-paid room in Frankfurt Flughafen. By the way, Mora said the airport police didn't even give him an explanation during the detention. Did they think he was Iranian? Because obviously that would be a crime. Mora's detention still raises a very fundamental question. Why does a person get detained for working for the European Union and negotiating with Iran? I mean, to get detained inside Europe when you've got a diplomatic passport? Whatever happened to freedom of movement? If Western officials don't trust each other, how do they expect Iran to trust them concerning the US withdrawal from the nuclear deal? Oh, and on this, an EU official term. Last time I checked, the EU isn't actually a country. Or is Brussels going to take a lesson from other superpowers? And does it plan to invade and conquer France, for example? There'll be a big clue if Macron gets arrested next time he's in Strasbourg. While the Germans wasted Mora's time for about 40 minutes, Elon Musk seems eager to waste about $40 billion to buy Twitter. But there's a twist in the Twitter tale. Just after agreeing the deal, Musk said he'd reinstate Donald Trump's Twitter account. But this one tiny, simple statement was enough to make thousands of users leave Twitter permanently. So now Musk says he's putting his $44 billion takeover of Twitter temporarily on hold, saying he wants more details about how many of the social platform's accounts are fake or spam. But could he really walk away? Apparently, his agreement with Twitter includes a $1 billion breakup fee if he backs out. To some people, that's quite a lot of money. Now, the world waits to see if Trump will return to Twitter. What does the public think? Here's what we found out. Finally, US Republican politician Rand Paul made different headlines by delaying single-handedly a bipartisan effort to send a different $40 billion in aid to Ukraine, causing some to say he's the last person in Congress who still owes his oath of allegiance to the US Constitution and not to a foreign nation. With the money the two parties, with the exception of Rand Paul, want to send Ukraine, they could have helped millions of Americans struggling to buy gas, groceries, baby food, or even more importantly, buy Twitter. Will Rand Paul run for president? Some claim he speaks for America by announcing, "We must put US taxpayers' interests first." Nice one, Mr. Paul. But if that's your rationale, why don't you delay sending money to Israel and Saudi Arabia too? Just asking. Now, in terms of priorities, remember that in 2021, the Republicans voted against lowering drug prices, against funding for COVID testing, against halving child poverty, against COVID relief checks, against helping the unemployed, against addressing climate change, against paid leave for families, against national standards for elections. And now, when they have the chance, they're even against buying Twitter. This leaves the door open for a Rand Paul presidential bid. If Joe Biden were asked what he thought of such a challenge, I have little doubt he'd say something like, "Rand doesn't know what he's talking about. America will continue to send arms to support President Zelensky in his fight to defend Iran against Romanian aggression." That's an artist's impression of what Biden might say if asked the question. Alternatively, he may have simply forgotten who Paul Rand is. That's all for this week. Join me again next time to see if Biden's got any younger, if Israel's got any kinder, and if anybody knows what Elon Musk will do next, including Elon. That's all on Press TV with me, Len Potopic, and cats and dogs.